So right here, I've got a LinkedIn campaign running. I haven't touched it today. I haven't logged into LinkedIn. I haven't written a single message, and I haven't copied and pasted anyone's name in a template or Excel or Google Sheet. In the last 48 hours, this campaign sent 87 connection requests. 34 of those are connected, and 9 of them have replied. So that is what automated LinkedIn outreach actually looks like. And if you're still doing this by hand, and I know a lot of you are, I want to show you exactly how to stop. So here is what you're doing on LinkedIn outreach manually actually costs you. And I don't mean money, I mean time. You open your LinkedIn, you search your target, you go to their profile, you check it if they're actually a fit, you send a connection request with a note, you wait, some connect, most don't. And the ones who connect, you go back and write the follow-up message. You do that 20, 30, 40 times a day if you're really disciplined. And that's before you ever have an actual conversation. So most people doing this manually are spending 2-3 hours a day on LinkedIn outreach. And the brutal part really is the moment you get busy, you stop. You get a client, you slow down, the pipeline dries up, and then you're back to square one doing it all by hand again. I've talked to people who have been in businesses for 2-3 years and still completely dependent on referrals because every time you try to build an outbound pipeline manually, life gets in the way. So the gut check really is this. How many LinkedIn messages did you send last week? Be honest. If that number is inconsistent week over week, the problem isn't your message, it's the system. So let's be clear. Let's just clear something up because I know a lot of people who have fear around LinkedIn automation. They think it's going to get their account banned or it's going to come off as spammy. And if you're doing it wrong, yeah, it definitely can. But done right, this is just a systematizing way of what you're already doing. So here's how it works. You use a tool. I use Expandy that runs inside a browser the same way you would. It's not a bot hitting a LinkedIn's API. It mimics human behavior. It sends connection requests within safe daily limits. It waits realistic amount of times between actions, and it doesn't do 500 things in an hour. It looks like a person using LinkedIn. So you define exactly who you want to reach out to, industry, job title, geography, company size. You write the message once, and then the tool does the repetitive part, the part that was eating 2 hours of your day automatically. So you still show up for real conversations. The part doesn't change. You just stop doing the manual grunt work to get there. So I break LinkedIn outreach down into 3 steps, and I call it find, touch, tend. So if you can build these 3 steps into a system, you have a LinkedIn pipeline that runs every single day, whether you're working or not. So the first one is find, which is your targeting. Before you write a single message, you need to know exactly who you're going after. And I mean exactly, not a small business owners, something like consultants in the US, 1 to 10 per person, no current marketing team, active on LinkedIn in the last 30 days, that specific. The tighter that you're targeting, the better the reply rates. And when someone reads your message and feels like you've wrote it specifically for them, because you basically did, they respond. And when they read generic message that could have gone to anyone, they ignore it. LinkedIn Sales Navigator gives you the filtering to get to the specifics. You build a search, save it, and it becomes your targeted list. Your automation tool pulls from that list. And if you're part of my community, you actually don't need to invest in Sales Navigator if you have a lower overhead and you really just want to get these lists and campaigns out. Because I have Sales Navigator, I could build lists for you. But the gut check on your targeting is if your prospect read your message and the first thought is, how did this person know that about me, which is specific to their market and what their pain point is, you got targeting right. If the first thought is, this is spam, you went way too broad. So touch is your first 2 messages. So the second thing is touch. The connection request and the first message after they accept. So connection request note, keep it short, 1 or 2 sentences max. Reference something specific about them in their industry, and you're not pitching here. You're just giving a reason to accept. So first message after connect, this is where most people actually blow it. They pitch immediately. Don't do that. You just got in the door. The goal of the message is to start a conversation, not close a deal. Ask a relevant question. Share something useful. Make it about them, not about you. So here's an example of what I actually send. I'm not going to read you a template because templates get stale very fast. You have to be very dynamic in your conversations, which is what people want, is unique and dynamic. But the structure is this: acknowledge something specific about their world, share a relevant observation, and then end the question that's easy to answer. That's it. No pitch, no I'd love to jump on a call, just a real opening. Reply rates on a well-targeted, well-messaged campaign run from anywhere from 20 to 40%. If you're below that, the issue almost always is targeting or the first message, not the channel. So tend, third one. is your follow-up sequence. And this is the stuff that almost nobody does manually because it's tedious and it feels awkward. If someone doesn't reply to your first message in 4 or 5 days, a follow-up fires automatically. Not just a check-in, a message. Those are the worst, absolute worst. A follow-up that adds something, a relevant insight, a short case study, a direct question that's even easier to answer than the first one. If they still don't reply, one more follow-up a week later, 3 touches total on LinkedIn before you completely move on. The reason this matters, and I know I keep saying this, but is that the most of the conversations you actually have didn't come from the first message. They came from the second or third follow-up. People are busy. You're busy. They saw the message, meant to respond, forgot. Your follow-up is just a reminder. It's not an annoying if it's relevant. And your automation tool handles the timing on all of this. You write the sequence once, it runs every new connection automatically. And I want to set real expectations here because I see a lot of people get sold automation and then they quit after 2 weeks because they thought they would have 50 calls booked immediately. But here's what's realistically what it looks like. Week 1 and 2, you're dialing, you're targeting message, your reply rates might be low. That's data. Adjust. By week 3 or 4, your targeting is right and your message is relevant and you're having conversations, not a flood, but conversations. And over 60 to 90 days with consistent volume of messaging, you're refining week over week. You're looking at steady stream of inbound conversations from people who are warm because they've been through your sequence. This is not a magic button. This is a system that compounds and you're already doing it manually. The people who quit after 2 weeks never got the compound part. I'm going to be very straight with you on the exact tools because I think that there's more useful than just keeping everything vague. It's way more useful to just let you know exactly how it works than being vague. So for LinkedIn automation, Expandy is the tool that I use. It's around $99 a month. It runs campaigns within LinkedIn safe limits. You can manage multiple campaigns. You can track replies and pause or adjust messaging at any time. It also does full email outbound campaigning that we're probably going to cover in another section. But now it does 2 things at once, which you could be paying 2 or 3 tools for. For my targeted list, LinkedIn Sales Navigator or Apollo.io is typically what I use. Sales Nav is $100 a month, and it gives you filtering to get very, very specific. Apollo is cheaper and has a built-in contact database with email included. So for my CRM and follow-up, go high level. That's where every conversation that comes in out of LinkedIn gets logged and where longer-term follow-up sequences live after LinkedIn conversations end. So total monthly cost, this whole setup for email, LinkedIn, and follow-up and CRM is under $300. One closed deal covers the whole month of that. So a couple questions that most people ask that are nervous about LinkedIn outbound automation is LinkedIn account, is it gonna ban me? So if you use a tool that runs within safe limits and mimics human behavior, no. And that's what my team shows. That's what I show to ensure that you stay in safe limits and you have this outbound going. Don't use tools that send 500 messages a day. Stay within 50 to 80 connection requests per day, and you're fine. Do I need Sales Navigator? No, not to start. You can use a regular LinkedIn search. Sales Navigator gives you like a better filter, and it's worth it once you're getting traction. What if people can tell it's automated? If your messaging is personalized and relevant, they don't care. I think AI has been adopted by every company at this point, so automation is accepted, right? But the idea is if it's relevant, if it's something that actually hits a pain point, is connected to their industry, they do not care. People respond to useful, relevant messages. They ignore generic ones. The automation just handles the delivery. So what industry does this work for? Any B2B service, consulting, coaching, recruiting, insurance, real estate, or any type of agency. If your client is a professional who is on LinkedIn, this works. How long does the setup actually take? A few hours. I think the last time I set someone up on Expandy.io, it took me 20 minutes. But now dial in the messaging, dial in like what you're actually trying to accomplish, dial in those things. It will take about an hour, right? I would say an hour or 2. So a few hours to get your first campaign live. Most of that is writing your message and building your targeted list. The tool setup itself is quick. What if I'm not comfortable with outreach messages? It's actually the most important thing to get right, and it's worth spending time on. I can help with that. So drop a comment with your industry, and I'll give you a starting framework. If you're still doing LinkedIn outreach by hand, I genuinely want to stop. I want you to stop after watching this. Not because it doesn't work, but because your time is worth more than copying and pasting names into a spreadsheet. So in the next video, right, I'm going deeper on the follow-up layer, specifically on how to set up automated sequences so that no lead ever falls through the cracks again. That one is coming here next in the next video. So if this was useful, hit the like button. It keeps me making this stuff. Link in the description is for a free community. I also have a time to set up if you really want to sit down and fully automate your pipeline process. And then I do have a paid service to go through each and every single pipelining tool to automate your process and keep costs low for your business. What I teach and what I build is I build with you, I teach you, and then you own it. Don't buy white label products that are promising the world. Build your own systems that are going to save you time, which in essence is just going to save you a lot of money. And then it's just going to take a lot of processing energy out of your business so that you can actually have creative energy and creative processes energy to put into your business. So excited to see you on the next one. Again, click, comment. I do have a booking link if you want to set a time with me. And then I do have my free community. In the community, it's an executive assistant build where it's kind of the brain of your system. And then the next paid portion of that is going through every prospecting tool you can possibly think of.